Butter Coffee Man is back, but I have milk in my coffee, so I'm cheating on my diet. I want to talk about a bit of a story and epiphany that I had a few weeks ago when it crystallized last night. So after I didn't know why I sold two of my cameras and three of my lenses, plus the softbox, the iPad, and why had these moves. I did these weird things. Even though I could have sold them a bit later, I sold them now. And I was like explaining to a friend of mine that you move differently whenever you have a sum of money. You can put things in motion. So that's why I took the decision to hire an editor, and it's fruitful. The guy delivered three of the courses out of 30, so that's good. But last night I got the brilliant idea to buy a new MacBook. I found it at a great deal, $1,000, but I didn't buy it. The reason I didn't buy it is because I didn't have enough of a buffer. I would have had to spend almost all the money I have on it, even though I would have gotten a 20% profit on it in a few weeks. So that's $200 in a few weeks. But I didn't buy it because I don't have enough of a buffer. I would have had to do some crazy shenanigans to be able to purchase that MacBook and profit off of it. So that's a bit of a bad thing because I know I could have profited off of it. It had double the amount of RAM than my current MacBook. It's the processor is the a generation older than mine, so it's the M1. It had double the amount of RAM and it had a 2 terabyte SSD. And mine has a 256 gigabyte SSD and 8 gigabytes of RAM. So, yeah. And it was almost the same price, just $50 difference between mine and that one on the used market. And yeah, it's just crazy what deals you can sometimes find. It's not a crazy deal, like something like it would have been a crazy deal if it was $100 cheaper than mine. So I didn't bounce on the deal, but if I had the money, I would have bounced right then and there. I would have taken a taxi and went to the pawn shop and bought it. I did this in the past when I had a lot of money, and I found an iPad that was $300 cheaper, and I sold it. I used it for 2 months, and then I sold it in a week after I posted it for a $200 markup. So 200, yeah, $200 markup. So it was still $100 cheaper than all of the listings. It would have been the same with this laptop. I would have put it at $150 markup. So $50 cheaper than all of the listings. It would have sold like in a few days. But I cannot do that decision. But if I had, for instance, decided to sell this camera or that camera, I would have had the money and I would have profited $200 by just doing a few taxi just going and buying it and then meeting with someone to sell it, posting it online, making a few photos, like 6 photos for $200, and 6 photos and 2 taxi rides for $200 of profit is super good. It's like $100 per hour of work. So you cannot, it's very difficult to get paid $100 per hour. That's exactly what happened when I bought the last iPad. I made $80 of profit in 35 minutes. So that's what you can do by flipping things when you know the price and you know the idea. But in order to do this, you need a buffer. You need some money aside just for that. So I've been looking to buy a Mac Mini to change my MacBook, because the MacBook, just because it has a screen, it's twice as expensive, and the Mac Mini would have the same computing power at less than half the price. So yeah, I had the money and I found a deal and I didn't buy it because, yeah, I just didn't buy it. And now I'm waiting for another opportunity to buy it at the same price, which is $450. So yeah, I cannot wait to do that and then sell my MacBook and have another buffer where I can profit off of the money and work, have that money work for me. And yeah, it's just people sell things like this is the most important thing to realize. People give away profit for the sake of speed. For selling something quicker, they give away 10 to 20% of the price. So if you can wait 1 to 2 weeks, you get 10 to 20% on that product. But you still have to do some work. You still have to know what you're buying. You cannot just buy anything. I would say Apple products are good for this if you want to flip some things. And you have to be very careful at how you test them. How you If you're buying used, you should test them thoroughly. Spend 45 minutes when you're buying something and test it from top to bottom, everything. And go into the buying opportunity ready to, actually not ready, but determined to say no at the first thing. Just be like, no, I don't want it. Like, you should be really ready to say no at any point whenever you see something that you don't like. Don't convince yourself. Convince yourself from home, convince yourself, I will not buy this. And once you go there, you're like, okay, what are the reasons that I shouldn't buy this? And you go and you find all of the points that you shouldn't buy. And then don't negotiate on the things that you shouldn't buy, just compliment the guy and whatever, and talk to the person and try to understand, is this the kind of person who would sell something of quality? And ever since I started asking myself that, I've become a person who sells something of quality, because I sit with the person and I say, okay, if I sell a laptop, I go like, don't worry, we can stay here for an hour, test everything that you want to be sure that you're buying something good. Test every button, every feature, everything. And then they go and they just go like, okay, fine. Just go for a few features, a few things that they can think of. And I'm like, no, you have to test this, this, and this because you haven't tested it. Please test it now. And they go like, what? So they are surprised by the fact that I'm suggesting what to test next because they haven't tested it and they didn't think of testing it. So, and I also come with everything that they need in order to test it. Like I come with Bluetooth devices, I come with different cables, I come with adapters and stuff like that, so that they have everything that they need. Bluetooth headphones, everything that you can think of, every device that you can think of in order to that I have in my house, of course, in order for them to test it out. Because yeah, I've been there. I used to repair PSPs, portable PlayStations. I used to repair them, and I got scammed for the first time because I didn't have headphones with me, so I didn't test the jack. And I went home, called the guy, and he didn't respond. So now I had a bigger issue because I could only solve battery issues and um, software issues with PSPs. If it was locked, people would sell um, locked PSPs for 500 for 50% less, and I would just fix them in like half an hour. So I just bought them and then sold them for a 50% markup. And that's why I couldn't test the, that's why I didn't even have the, what's it called? The jack. I couldn't test it because I would have had to repair it and then test it. And then the guy would be like, I don't want to sell it anymore. So it was a bit of a risk there, but it paid off. I sold it for 20-30% instead of 50% profit. So yeah, you can really, well, the biggest way to profit is actually to that tool that you are buying. If you can profit off of it by making things with it, then that's the biggest profit you can make. Selling the thing, selling the tool is not where you get the profit. Using it is where you get the profit. So if you can have a way to like either provide a service by buying something or to make a product by buying something, then that's where the profit is. And you don't have to own that thing for a long while. Just do all of the work that is necessary beforehand and then buy the thing, have it for 2 months, make it work for 2 or 3 months, and then sell it again. And that's how you maximize the profit off of buying things. And you don't, because the highest cost for a business, usually a production business, is the equipment. And if you can lower that equipment, it's like you're buying it and then selling it, and then you have all of these products that you can sell for a year, then that's, you've done them in 2 months or 1 month, and then, or even 10 days, and then you sell the machine, and then whenever you finish the sales of the products, you can, or if they are digital products like videos, then doesn't matter, you can sell them forever. But that's the idea of how you profit. You don't need to own the equipment. You can rent it, buy it, and sell it, and you don't have this, all of this money stuck into this business. So anything that you can buy used, you can then sell. uh, You need to familiarize yourself with the prices and how expensive things are, and how, what's a deal, what's not a deal, and what can you produce with that thing, in order to profit. So you do the materials cost, you do everything else, and then you buy it, use it, sell it. And then you end up for a fraction of the cost of the machine, just having a lot of, and sometimes you can profit even by selling the machine, you can profit you can still profit off of it because you've waited for a deal to start that project. But you do all of the work beforehand. You understand what products it can create. You have all of the files, all of the things needed to create those products. You know what a good deal is on that machine, and then you buy it. You have the money and you buy it, and then you sell it. You use it and you sell it. So you have this workflow that you've built for when you find a deal, so you can maximize the profit off of it. Like, for instance, this camera. The whole idea is I buy it, I review it, I make videos about it. I've already got a deal by buying it, and then I'm going to sell it for a profit, and I've done, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 videos. So that's how you profit off of a thing. So don't keep your money in objects. Objects usually depreciate faster than money. So inflation is usually worse for objects. Well, deflation is usually worse than on money. So money loses its value way lower than objects, because objects are just one purpose machines. Well, a few purposes machines, but money is an all-purpose machine. So that's how you convert everything back into cash, so that you have the ability to move things around, to make things happen. I think that's a great idea that you can implement in your life. And if you're saying like, oh, but what am I going to do? It's like, well, anything that anyone else can do, you can do as well, with some exceptions. If they have some highly natural talent or genetics or whatever, yeah, sure, that's a defining factor, but and a limiting factor. But don't compare yourself to the 1%. Compare yourself to the 50%. Is the 50% in this area that I want to create products making money? Yes. Well, that I can do it. I can be at the 50%. If you want to really find a good deal, is like, look at the lower 10%. Are they making money? If yes, then that's good. You found a good deal. Because when the lower 10%, the people at the bottom, are making money, it means that only showing up would mean you getting paid by just showing up. So you just have to show up and you get paid. What I mean by that is that you don't have to be world class, you don't have to have a particular skill, you don't have to have 10 years of experience in that. You just have to show up. And there are opportunities there where you just show up and you make money. And that's exactly when I started becoming profitable in my businesses. Is when I realized that in this course business that I started, it was like the lower 10% were making money instantly the first day. And I was like, okay, I just need to show up. And I showed up consistently. And then I was like, now I'm in the top 20, I think, top 10, 20 or 30% of course makers, which is not, it sounds more fancy than it is. The difference between the top 30 and the 1% is like the difference between affording a house in 5 years and affording a house a month. So, yeah, but still, if the lowest 10% are making money, then that's a good deal, because you know you can be in the lower 10% and it's not a waste of time. And I've just found well, 1 year and a half, I didn't just find, I found another way of making money that's the same. And 1 year and a half ago, and it's been 1 year and 5 months since I've been at 90%, and the last 10% took me 1 year and 5 months. Well, it took me like 6 days, but it took me like 6 days to do the last like 8% of the business. But that 8% took like 6 or 7 days. So I did, for that business, I worked only 6 or 7 days in the last 1 year and 5 months. It's crazy. So yeah, don't be like me. Pounce on opportunities, and just, especially if you don't have like a passive income, let's say, or you need more money, just whenever you are presented with a good opportunity, just take it and profit off of it as much as possible, and then you can chill afterwards. So today wasn't a very productive day due to the fact that I had no electricity for 4 hours, and I couldn't do any filming, which meant I started filming at 1:30 in the morning. It's now 3, and I don't want to film anything anymore, even though I had to film 2 more videos. I'm just going to go to bed and edit some videos while I sit in bed and relax because I'm tired, and I'll do the work tomorrow. I filmed one of the videos, but it wasn't really exactly what I should have filmed. I just prepared the table for tomorrow, when I'll do twice as much work because I am not satisfied with the day. And yeah, that's the plan. I'm giving everything for tomorrow. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go to sleep. I don't feel very well. I'm tired and exhausted. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow.